Welcome to the shortwave radio channel, and more long-wave testing of receivers, because it's interesting to see how H-1 performs on listening to those non-directional beacons, since this week we have the decommissioning of some of them. Why not do a little blitz of listening to some of them? And of course, like I said, tonight I will go with my radios into the park at dark. So probably around local 9 or 10 p.m. we'll be going to the park and checking out what we can hear, as the noise level will be lower in the park. So we're going to test in this round, as the plane is passing by overhead, the Tecsun H-501X that we know is working well on Longwave, but against a very inexpensive small Tecsun PL-330. How about it? How does this compare on Longwave when you actually use it against the Tecsun H-501X? Now, one thing that is interesting to note is that you can plug an external antenna for medium wave and long wave on the Tecsun PL-330. What you need to do is simply hold the number 3 key to switch between the internal ferrite and the external antenna from the antenna jack. So this is the difference when you look at what's happening with the radios. So we're going to see how this performs. It's a rather small radio, so one of the things that you probably have in here is a much smaller ferrite than the Tecsun here that has a very big one. So that will of course make a difference in reception. I don't expect the 330 to be as good on internal ferrite with Longwave because of its smaller antenna. And as we have another plane passing by, so 248 kilohertz of course on the Tecsun H-501X, pretty good. And we have some static crashes from thunderstorms somewhere. And now, same UL non-directional beacon 248, but on the Tecsun PL-330. So it's not as good, but it's there. It's there. It's definitely received, and interesting to see that it's receiving. For those that have one, by the way, you have to turn on Longwave by pressing the number 2 when the radio is off if you want Longwave to work, and else you won't be able to switch between medium wave and Longwave. I don't know why, because it should be just part of the radio and on all the time, but anyways, that's weird things sometimes that companies do. Now let's go to the next one, which is much weaker, the UFX one in Saint Felix de Valois. Pretty much this is pretty much where it's the strongest. So this is UFX. On the H-501X. Now, is this one capable of receiving it? Unfortunately, no. We're not really getting it. I think this has a lot to do with the, like I said, the internal ferrite, which is much smaller. But since you could put an external antenna, you can actually make it better. Using a loop, for example, that would probably work well with the 330. And then, of course, let's go to the one in Saint-Sebastian, which is the 407 non-directional beacon. Here it is, 407 on the H-501X. And let's compare that with the Tecsun PL-330, pretty good. Received pretty well. For 07 kilohertz, so it's pretty good. Of course, very directional because of the internal ferrite, but definitely there. So you know, it's not a DX machine because the internal antenna is smaller, but it does receive, and you know, it's better than the XH data actually. So it's a winner here compared to the XH data, that's for sure. And it's also a winner because if you activate external antenna, then what you could do is have the antenna used for medium wave and long wave for the radio, the Tecsun PL-330, which would add probably to its sensitivity quite a lot. So pretty cool to see these radios working together. Tecsun PL-330, a very small package, of course, and neat little radio for the price. And you got to compare the radios also, saying, you know, the Tecsun PL-330 is actually the Tecsun H-501X is more than 3 times the price of a Tecsun PL-330. So when you think about that, you put things into perspective that, you know, some radios, even though less expensive, still work well. Hope you enjoyed these compare videos. If you enjoy my videos, please subscribe, give us a thumbs up. Thank you for watching.